Hi everyone, it's Miss Brenner. I hope you're all doing well and staying happy and healthy. Today we're going to be talking about semicolons and colons. So this is what a semicolon looks like. I hope you guys are at least decently familiar with them. When it comes to a semicolon, it's pretty much a fancy period. It's not a fancy comma. It separates two complete sentences, and one of the easiest ways to know that your semicolon is working properly is that if you can replace the semicolon with a period, then you're good. If you cannot replace the semicolon with a period, then it is incorrect. You should not capitalize the following words that come after the semicolon like you would at the beginning of a sentence. And yes, there are other times that you can use a semicolon where they would technically be like a super comma, but it's very rare, and we're not going to focus on that at this point in time once again because it's so extremely rare. Alrighty, so semicolons. Here are some examples. So this first sentence would be incorrect. Lizzie hates peas, preferring broccoli instead. This is incorrect because preferring broccoli instead is not a complete sentence. It is dependent, and so you would use a comma in that situation. We can make it into two complete sentences and pair them together then using a semicolon by writing Lizzie hates peas, she prefers broccoli instead. So another example where the sentence would be incorrect to use a semicolon would be because I lost my dance shoes, I was late for my recital. You cannot use a semicolon in that scenario. However, we can once again revamp the sentence. I lost my dance shoes, I was late for the recital. You can use a semicolon there. Now, as you can hear when you read sentences out loud, in some cases, using a semicolon does not make it sound more sophisticated. It just sounds a little bit more clunky because you are putting together two simple sentences with the semicolon instead of using a period. You can make it sound more sophisticated sometimes using just a comma, and then other times you do want to use a semicolon. We're going to look at an example where using a semicolon might make it sound more sophisticated. So using semicolons with words like however and furthermore tend to elevate the sentence. I like shopping, however, I hate the crowds. Margie is a mess, furthermore, she needs to get her act together. However is not a coordinating conjunction, so we talked about coordinating conjunctions in the past, which would be our fanboys for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So our coordinating conjunctions will need commas, but words like however will need semicolons. You may not use it to join two sentences, which is why the semicolon, or in any case you could use a period, is needed. So here's an example that would be incorrect, because it's going to end up with a run-on sentence. I love Donna, however, I do not like her dog. Kind of a scary sentence. Anyhow, it's incorrect because it's a run-on sentence, which we talked about 2 weeks prior. I love Donna, semicolon, however, comma, I do not like her dog would be correct. And you could also just make it into two separate sentences by writing I love Donna, period, however, I do not like her dog, which would then be correct as well. So we've been over coordinating conjunctions, and you can easily Google words that would not be coordinating conjunctions that you would use with semicolons, and just a couple of those would include however, therefore, thus, whereas, furthermore, and there are others, but those are just some of the more common ones. Also, when we're talking about semicolons, we do not want to use them with gerunds. So, things that would be incorrect. He was disappointed, semicolon, believing he failed the exam. You cannot use semicolons with gerunds. Instead, we would use commas. So we already talked about sentences that had a dependent and independent clause. And so this would be an example of that kind of situation where you cannot use a semicolon. I also want to talk about colons today. So colons are not as commonly used, but once again, this is a situation where it can elevate your writing. So a form of introduction, so introductions, an effect of a previously stated fact. For example, I could think of only one reason for her behavior, insanity. It's meant to put emphasis on whatever was going to come next, and oftentimes used in creative writing or in fictional pieces to try and bring attention to the next coming concern. So introduces a description, particularly a list. So Max had 3 dogs, Rex, Spot, and Killer. So whenever you're making lists, you can use a colon. It introduces a definition. So Soren loves the letter J, the 10th letter of the alphabet. It's kind of going to work as a pause to then create emphasis. Yes, a comma could also often work, but not always. So oftentimes colons are used for lists and introductions to create emphasis. Alrighty guys, that is everything for our notes on semicolons and colons for today. We'll talk about it more throughout the week as we work on this as our particular topic for grammar. Alrighty guys, hope you have a wonderful day and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.